Okay, I'm fixing to make, thought I'd make a small video on a little bit about Rango and talk about him a little bit, since most of the videos I put on YouTube are more shows what he does and everything, but it's only got music but no talking. So this time I decided to make a talking video, describe a little bit how I take care of Rango and what he likes to eat and things like that, and a little bit about his cage. Okay, his cage, at the moment I can't remember what size it is. It's the biggest one you can get for a Chameleon, and we got it from retile.com. It also has like a substrate tray in the bottom, but I don't use substrate. I use you can put paper towel in the bottom of it, and also have like a drip pan in the bottom of it too, that's also from Retile. And we also have 2 ficus plants in there. We also got those from Retile. The umbrella plant, we got it from a local nursery here, and we kind of wish we didn't because it was too much money. And it's also, bottom half of it is losing its leaves, stuff like that. The vines, we got those from other vendors. I think we got them from not Retile, but we got them from RetileSupplyCompany.com. I think they're .com, I don't remember. It's been too long. But we also have got an electronic misting system. It's got its own timer built into it and everything. And of course I'm gonna have to add water to it soon. It comes on like every 3 hours for 15 seconds. That way it doesn't flood his cage at the bottom. I tried doing it longer than that, and he ended up having a small pond in the bottom of his cage. So we don't want him to have a pond in there to might make insects that way. I also have a big dripper for him in the top. Of course I gotta fill it up too. It's almost empty now. And it drips down onto a vine. It goes like that. And when he's thirsty, he'll come over and get him some water. Now also down at the bottom, the reason why I put this cup in here, all I did was put a little screening over the top of it, and I put a duct tape around it to keep it from moving. And the reason for the screen is, well, if he ever lost his slip and decided he wanted to go investigate, if he was to fall down in that, he could drown. So I put the screen on there for his protection so he wouldn't drown. And he has been down at the bottom before, and I've seen him get water off of that, but only once or twice. So he doesn't do it very often, but I have seen him do it. So he's kind of funny. And if you've seen some of the other videos and stuff, he's very spoiled, and he's very tame. He loves to be held, and he loves to be hand fed. And you can see him back there now. He's kind of just chilling out right now. And a little bit about Rango's health. You'll see some videos on YouTube also, that's not related to YouTube, but also videos and information around the internet. They'll talk about, oh, they don't like to be held, they don't like to be touched, they don't like this or that. They get aggressive and everything. We've been handling Rango ever since we got him, and he has become very spoiled to the point where he will come out to you regardless if you have food in your hand or not. We interact with him every day. When we first started interacting with him, we kind of took our time with him. Took him out maybe a couple times a day. Well, not at first, but the first few weeks I think we just took him out for like 15-20 minutes a day. And he didn't really seem to like it too much, but he didn't puff up, he didn't hiss at us, and he didn't get aggressive or anything. He just seemed like he was a little uneasy about it at first. And then after about 3 or 4 weeks later, he got to where he realized my hand wasn't going to hurt him. And then all of a sudden he just started coming out on his own. I'd leave the door open while I'm sitting at my computer, and he would just come out on, come down to a vine like this one over here. Or he'd come over here on this one and sit right here and look at me. Or sometimes he'll climb down on this one, he'll come down here and he'll hang off of this one and just kind of look at me. And I'll put my hand up to him and he'll come down to my hand. Now I also have wooden dowels that I put in there with thumbtacks on the end, so I could have some place to wrap the vines around. And it's not really, it's an idea, but I might end up changing it one day. But it works, and Rango's happy with it. He's not really picky about what I put in there. As you can see, he seems to be okay with it. And oh, I almost forgot some more stuff. This plant here is not real. It's a fake plant. It's one of those hanging vines that you can twist and turn and put anywhere in there. It's about like 6 feet long, and you just route, you just put it in anywhere in the cage that you want to put it in there. And I've seen him climbing this too. At first, he just looked at it. It took him about a week to get used to it. He finally got used to it. And now he climbs all over it and hides in it now. And he's got another one in the back there, but I got it more going around the bottom. And it loops back up and comes back over here. And he climbs on this every day now. And at first he wouldn't for about a week, and he finally got used to it, so he loves it. And I also have a thermometer, a digital thermometer that tells how hot his temperature is. And you see it's about 87 in there now, close to where his light's at. And he don't spend a lot of time underneath his light. He kind of does that only when it gets cold, and he very rarely does he get up underneath his light. Most of the time he spends his time about halfway up, about right in here. But right now he's underneath his light, but I think he's waiting for me to give him something to eat. So if I can do this one-handed, I will try to give him a worm. As soon as I can get one out of his little container. I got them lightly, the mealworms, I got them coated a little bit with, well, that's feisty. I got a little calcium powder mixed in, or just regular calcium powder without no D3 in it. And they say that if you put D3, if you put, see, here it comes. Didn't take him long, did it? Anyway, what I was saying is the calcium powder that's got without the D3 is better for him than the ones that are D3. The heat lights, or the UV light and everything that he has in his cage that's up there, the fluorescent UVB, it's a 5.0, and what it is a it puts out his UVB, and they say that chameleons or other reptiles, when they are under the sun, or if they're underneath the UV light, what happens is that they produce their own D3. You can use D3 calcium, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you use it, maybe once every 45 days, to help them with their D3. But 99.9% of the time, they will produce their own D3 or make their own. So I use calcium without the D3 in it. And I'll use vitamin powder every once in a while. But most of the time, you don't really need the vitamin powder, because if you feed healthy stuff to your mealworms, if you're raising your own mealworms, you give them little pieces of carrot for moisture, and you also give them romaine lettuce and things like that, and the oatmeal that they're in, all that stuff's got vitamins in it already, and the mealworms are eating all that, so they pass on the vitamins that they get onto to the chameleon. And the thing is I still use a vitamin powder, but maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, I might give him a little bit and lightly coat the worms or crickets that I give him. And every now and then I'll take him in there where the crickets are at, and I'll let him pick out what he wants out of there, and I'll let him eat like 3 or 4, and then I'll give him some worms, and then after that I'll take him either in the kitchen or in the bathroom where the faucet is, and he'll drink out of my hand. But it's kind of hard to shoot that when you only have 2 hands, and he's taking up 2 of them. So I'll try to get that one day to show how much he likes that. I think he's a little camera shy right now. He saw the camera and he kind of backed up a little bit, so I'll try to get the camera back a little bit so he can see his worm, or where he'll come down to it. But you see, he's not really not really shy. He's not really, aggressive. He doesn't hiss up. And you see he comes down to me, and he saw me holding his food, and you seen where he was at the beginning of the video. He's underneath his light. Now look at him. He's over here. And a lot of the times when I'm holding him, or when I'm opening up the door, he'll actually be hanging on the door waiting on me to take him out. And right now, I'm not really sure what he's doing. He's just being himself. And he's a very spoiled little boy. And you see he's really gentle. He's tame. He's not aggressive. He's not blowing up. He changes colors when he gets excited. And right now he's excited. But again, I think he's not really used to the camera phone. I'm using my phone to do this, so it's not real. He seems to dig it sometimes. I've actually seen him. If I show some of the videos to him, he does something really funny, which I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but we get a laugh out of it. If I'm showing a video of himself to him and he's sitting in my lap or on my hand, he'll come down and tag. He'll use his tongue and actually shoot his tongue at the phone. And I'm not sure if he's going after the other mealworm that he sees himself eating, or or what he's doing. I'm not sure, but it's really funny when he does it. But I'll try to get a video of that one day if I can. Come here, Rango. Come here. You want to come out? You camera shy, ain't you? Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. You camera shy, huh? Okay. Now, also, where we got Rango was we ordered him from retile.com, and he was shipped to us overnight, and he was very healthy and very tame. He came right on out of his out of the cup that he was in. In fact, this deli cup that I'm using to feed his worms in is the cup that he got shipped in from Triple L. All I did was cut it and shorten it about like this tall. It was a lot taller than this, but I shortened it down, and I thought I'd use it as a feeding cup to give him, but I hold on to the cup. I don't keep it in his cage. But he'll actually eat out of this too. But when they're coated up with calcium powder, that's all I got them right now. I just shake them up in that and lightly coat them. But he'll if he can see them out of the calcium, he'll tag them or get them with his tongue. It just takes him a little bit. He's a little slow, but that's the other thing too you got to remember about a chameleon, is that you can't be fast around them. You can't really have their cage around a high traffic foot area, where a lot of people walk past his cage every couple minutes. That would stress them out. You just put him in an area that doesn't have a lot of foot traffic, doesn't have a lot of people in it all the time, because it might stress your chameleon out if you get one. With him, it's just me and my wife, and I move around him. He sees me all the time because I sit at my computer a lot, and he's used to seeing me. And he's used to seeing my wife too. He gets where he'll walk on both of our hands a lot. But I'm usually the one that takes him out of his cage a lot. But he seems to trust me more than anybody else. If my mom comes over, he'll come to the door, but he won't let her take her out. Won't let him take. He doesn't want to come out when my mom's here, unless I'm here in front of him. So, you want another worm, Rango? No? Or you gonna get your water? This is what he does when he gets his water. And you're a little slow, Rango. You gotta go a little faster. You want another worm? Thing about Rango is that when I first, when he got shipped here by Triple L, he's nice and calm like he is now. He was nice and green. He wasn't stressed out. There were some videos I seen before where they showed them unpacking their chameleon, and we didn't make a video of that when we got Rango, but we were more, wanting to make sure he was healthy and fine and all that. But when we got him and he was okay, when we took him out of his box and unwrapped him, he stayed nice and green and mellow. just like he is now. And he never did puff up or hiss at us or anything like that. He's going after another one. Good boy. And when I put him in his enclosure, he was okay. You know, he stayed nice and calm and mellow. Now, I did try to get him later on that day to give him something to eat, and he was scared of me. And he took off and hid. But I think that was the only time I'd ever seen him turn a real dark color. So I learned just to wait for him to do his thing and let him come to me. And he finally got tamed where he liked what I was doing. And he didn't mind it at all. And right now he's digging this. And as you can see, he's really calm, he's mellow, he's tame, you know, he's not aggressive. And I think I proved all them people wrong when they talk about that. It could be the only reason why I could figure why a chameleon would stay wild or stay aggressive is the ones that don't take, you know, all they do is they put a food bowl in their cage like this, and they'll leave it in there, and they expect their chameleon just to eat out of that. And they don't give them hardly any interaction at all. And if you don't interact with your chameleon, and all you do is keep them in their cage, and you just put your food in there, then they're not going to get tame. They're just going to stay aggressive. I think he's wanting me to hold him now. Okay, hang on a minute, Rango. I got one free hand. Okay, you coming? Come on. Oh yeah, you're still camera shy. I'm sorry. Here, I'll back up a little bit. Well, come on. You can come out. But the thing about chameleons is, as I was saying, if all you do is you just put them in the cage and you just give them food in a bowl and you let the chameleon eat out of that bowl without you interacting with them, what ends up happening is that they stay aggressive. They don't get tame, they don't become tame, and they act like a wild animal. And then when you get within 5 feet of their cage, you get territorial, and then they want to blow up and they want to hiss at you, and then they act like they're trying to bite you. Well, that's because if you don't interact with them more than once a day, like 30 minutes at a time, and you only give them food and you put stuff in their cage for and you only interact with them for about a minute and then leave them, yeah, they're going to become aggressive. But if you do like I did with Rango, you spend, 30 minutes at a time, do this, just do this every day and be slow with him and just let him do his own thing. And you see he's just digging this. He's crawling all over me now. Of course, now I'm probably going to have to end the video in a minute because I only got one free hand and he's holding it. Okay, you're getting on my shoulder now. Okay. And he's very spoiled, as you can see. But I think I talked about everything I can about him and everything that needs to be talked about. And he's loving the camera. Hi there. You digging that, ain't you? Yeah.
When he decides he wants to come out like he just did,
yeah,
he'll stay out all day as long as
yeah, my wife was saying, I'm not sure if you could pick it up though, she might be too far from the phone, but she was just telling me that, if you take Rango, well, if you interact with your chameleon and you get him spoiled like we got ours, and he decides he's going to come out, he doesn't want to go back right away. He stays out for 2 or 3 hours at a time or even longer. And he will crawl all over our hands. And on one video you see him where he's getting on my face and things like that. And likes to get my wife's hair, things like that. And I think he's crawling down my back, although I can't really. I know what he's doing. He's going down here where I got to get my other hand underneath him so he don't fall. But he likes to come out for long periods at a time, like several hours. Now at first, when we first got him, it was like 10 minutes at a time. And then we slowly increased the amount of time we kept him out. It was like 20 minutes and then 30 minutes. And it worked its way into an hour.
now it's all day.
and now it's pretty much half a day now on the days off. And then before I go to work, I'll interact with him for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before I have to go to work. And then when I get home, I interact with him for another few hours after I get home. So he's pretty much out most of the time, you know, a lot, and he loves it. And he likes crawling on. Right now he's on my back, and he's climbing back up to my shoulder, I think. I can't tell.
No, he's going down.
He's going down my back right now, so I can't really get a video of that.
He's going down your back.
Okay. So I think I've yeah, he's getting on my arm.
He's getting on your arm.
But I think I pretty much explained a little bit. If I think it's now what is he doing? He's on my forearm again.
Yeah, he is.
I think I might have touched on everything on how to take care of a chameleon and what we do for Rango. And if it's anybody that's had any questions on how to take care of them and things like that, I think it's pretty much touched on everything on what we do for him. There he is.
Him spoiled.
He's spoiled boy, ain't he? Yeah, he's spoiled rotten, ain't he? Yeah. Are you spoiled rotten? Too bad they can't talk. Yeah. Yeah, see if we can get him. Just for a minute, I want to see if he'll go back in his cage. Now, this is what he does. When I try to put him back in his cage, this is what he does. He don't reach for the vine. He wants to stay out. And now, this is supposed to be an animal that's not supposed to be tame. They're not supposed to be friendly. They're supposed to be aggressive and don't want to be held. Does he look that way? Doesn't look like it to me. Okay, if I forgot anything in the video, just he's also changing colors too. Okay, sorry about that, I got distracted. But if I forgot to say anything in the video or comment on anything, just leave your comments and tell me what you think about the video. And say hi, Rango. Rango. You love that camera, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Oh, I almost forgot. I also have timers for his lights too. I got one for his day and nighttime light, which is that little one on the top. And I also have a timer for his UV light so it shuts off. But I occasionally leave it on most of the time for the plants and things like that. And it helps the plants get UV just like they were outside. And the automatic misting system, it automatically sprays, you know, every 3 hours. The heat lights, I got one daylight and one night light. I forgot to add that in the video, but it's the daylight's on right now. It's a 40-watt bulb. Now, if he does happen to decide that he wants to climb on the screen upside down, which he's done that before, if he stays on it more than 5 minutes, I would turn the light off so he doesn't burn himself. We don't want him burning his belly on it and stuff, but it's such a low wattage and everything, I don't think it's going to hurt him. But I keep an eye on him, and if when I'm at work, if he decides he's going to climb on that light or on the screen and hang upside down from it, he's only done it a couple of times, but he's done it when I was here. So if he stayed on it more than 2 or 3 minutes, I turn it off so he doesn't burn himself.
He did it to me too.
And he's done it with my wife too when I was at work and she had to turn the light off. But he hasn't done that in a while. And the other light that's not on is his nighttime light, and it's also a 40-watt heat light too, but it puts out nighttime light. It's like a reddish color. So other than that, I think I've touched on everything. I can't think of anything right now that I haven't touched on, so I think it explains a little bit more about Rango and what I've done for him and how happy he is and how he's on my back again. Come here, Rango. Say goodbye. Oop, let go of my shirt. Come here. There he is. Oh, goodness. Hi there. There he is. And say goodbye, Rango. I know you can't talk. I'm just saying that. Are you spoilt rotten, Judd? Or are you spoilt rotten? Yeah, I believe he's spoilt rotten. Okay. Well, anyway, leave your comments and any anything you think about the video. Thanks for watching. Oh, can't find a. Gotta use my other hand for a second.